This cheap VE Commodore cost me $500 and it has come a very long way from where it started, but as we start to upgrade this car with the wrap and the wheels and the suspension and all of the other goodies, I find myself running into problems.
After all this time and effort, I have made a mistake on the VE Commodore. So in the last video, I got this panel wrapped and this door wrapped, and then I tried to do this door, and this is where I made a mistake, and it was actually in the preparation of the wrap. Now, I don't know if that's coming through on camera, but you can see all the little divots in the door. Now, an issue like this comes from preparation. I prepped the door perfectly, as you should. When I came down here, I did not prep this panel. So inside the door between here, there was dirt. And what happened when I started to wrap was the dirt lifted up and got caught underneath the wrap. And now I'm at a point where I probably don't have enough wrap to replace this panel. So I think I'm just going to have to leave it. It is okay, but it's really not ideal. I'm putting in so much work to this car to make it perfect and be a showpiece, and you know, you'll see in the later videos really how far I'm going with this car to bring it up to something completely insane. So little things like that are really big setbacks for me because it's not how I envisioned it going. I envisioned the panel being pretty much perfect, kind of like the other two. I have no choice but to keep going. So what I'm gonna do in this video is continue the wrap as much as I can.
So let's jump into it, guys. Quick transition, and that is the front bumper completed. Both doors are completed and the rear quarter panel is done. Now for the rear bumper, Lucas from Signature Auto Styling came through and helped out, and that was immensely helpful. I will shout him out a couple of times in this video for all of their great help.
So it's no secret, I'm not a professional car wrapper, but we are making some good progress on this car. I had Lucas from Signature Auto come out and give us a hand on that. His workshop is just down the road from ours, so he came over and did the rear bumper. Thank God for him, because the front bumper was a nightmare for me, and having him do that has really helped us out. I've got a lot to do on this car, and I want to show you something on the quarter panel. Boom, embossed fitting bay logo. So when I wrap this side of the car, that's gonna stick through, it's gonna look insane, very cool. I've still got this side quarter panel to do, this door to do, this door to do, the roof and the bonnet, and that is it. The rest of the car is done, and it is looking insane. But that's not all I wanted to get done in this video. I do wanna finish the wrap, definitely need to finish the wrap, but we've got some goodies right there. So MTX Audio has come through and hooked us up with a massive box that'll probably only just fit in the boot. Thunder splits, Thunder coaxials, two 12-inch subs, and an amp to run the whole thing. So we're gonna work on getting this installed today, and I'm also gonna use a 10-inch touchscreen display. This is an Android system with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but it also runs a bunch of other features, including DSPs and all that sort of stuff, so we can tune this how we want it. I'll probably need a line-out converter as well, but we'll talk about that later. That is basically the setup that we're gonna go into this car for audio visual. And in the boot there is the fascia kit from AirPro. So basically this replaces the junk that's in there as standard and gives us a brand new DIN right there, which we can go ahead and mount our brand new screen into, and that's gonna look very, very nice, and it will retain the genuine climate control as well. So wish me luck while I keep going on the wrap. Jaden's gonna start removing the door cards to mount our speakers and do some sound deadening. We still haven't put the roof lining in from one of the first videos we did. We've left the roof lining out because we're probably gonna add some sound deadening on the roof as well, because those subs are gonna pump, and I don't like rattles. So we'll do that. Check back in with you shortly. Let's see how we go.
Here we go, guys. Massive piece ready to cut out. Here I'll cut out the doors and we'll save that for later. And now I've got this massive quarter piece panel to run. And as I got about halfway through this panel, Lucas decided to rock up again with his installers. This was immensely helpful. We got the doors done, the boot, the bonnet, the whole lot. The guys helped me finish the car in basically this clip. So that was amazing. Car looks insane. Shout out to Lucas and the boys. Let's move on.
This panel here, we got the fitting bay embossed. I know, very nice, very nice. Lucas has the boys doing the doors, help with the boot and the rear bumper. And we're pretty much ready to go. It's just the roof left and the bonnet, and I'll need to get new side skirts because these are the Omega ones. We're gonna need SSV side skirts, and then we can wrap those, but they're gonna be the very last thing to go. And to do the bonnet, I'm gonna have to go through and sand all of these stone chips down. So I'm gonna do that now, and then we'll get the bonnet wrapped and then I can put the front end back together, and this is going to look insane. Now we're going to start on the audio stuff. James has got the adapters for the speakers, so they just mount into the factory locations. They space out and they're a little bit bigger, so we can drop in a nice big MTX speaker. I'm a little worried about that box not fitting in the boot, but we'll see how we go. Amp will go in the boot because the battery is right in there. So that's nice and easy. Update, it has been a massive day. I'm so thankful to Lucas and Signature Auto Styling for coming and giving us a chop out on that car. The roof is now done, the bonnet is done. It is completely finished except for the side skirts because I need to get SSV side skirts. So we'll get those side skirts and then wrap them. And the other thing is the mirrors. The rest of the car is completely done and it is looking insane. We'll get a look at that in a minute. Me and the boys are going hard on the audio system, so let's take a look at that. Jaden's here doing the rear door. So we're cleaning out all of the gunk in the doors. We're gonna put sound deadening all the way through, and then we'll mount the MTX speakers. James has got this MTX speaker mounted with some sound deadening around the actual speaker itself, and then all of the sound deadening has been completed in the doors, and we're doing the crossovers in the kick panel and the tweeter in the factory tweeter location. I'm working on all of this stuff over here. So we have the head unit. This is how it's gonna be. Climate control down there, head unit in. It's not finished yet, but basically that's how I'm gonna mount it. Here we have a pack audio line out converter. So we're basically gonna grab the speaker signal from the head unit and it's gonna convert it to RCAs. We've only got 4 channels, we need 6. So we're gonna run 4 from here to do the main speakers. And then I'm gonna run 2 more from the actual head unit's RCAs out, which will do the subwoofer. So we can still control the amplifier sound from the DSP in our unit. And here is the main harness for that unit there, which makes all the steering wheel controls work and all that good stuff. So basically what I have to do is get this connected to this, to this, to this, and make a nice neat loom. And here we have the power with a nice fuse on it, and I've taped it up, so that's ready to go. Battery is in the boot, so nice and easy on that. So I'll get all that done and we'll see how it looks. So this side will run to the amp. We've got RCAs and speaker cable and the remote turn-on wire. And that's been loomed up nicely all the way to here. This stuff will all go at the front of the car. So I've basically just tapped on everything that we need. RCAs, speaker cable and power, all to the main quad lock, which will go into the car to power up that. And that is pretty much where we're at. So here's my handiwork at the back. Fuse right there, power ready to go onto the battery terminal when we're ready to power it up. Amp is mounted in the top left corner. So we've got RCAs going into the amp, speaker outputs, sub output, and power. All of this stuff runs to the front of the car. Now we ran it down the driver's side because the battery power loom runs down this side. So we don't want interference. So basically that wiring shoots across all the way to the front. And of course, battery power here, and I did a ground. Actually, you can see it right there. That's the ground point in the body of the car. So that's ready to go. The next part now is getting that sub into this boot. And I don't know how that's gonna work.
So here we go, time to struggle getting this subwoofer into the boot. We'd already removed the rubber seal around the boot. However, it was not enough. We needed to remove the boot latch. So Jaden is here removing the boot latch. And once that's out of the way, we can try again. And after a lot of maneuvering and pushing, we were able to get the subwoofer back in place. Jaden can go ahead and put the boot latch back on, and then he can grab the rubber surround and put that back around the boot. And that is ready to go.
It is a brand new day. It is another extremely hot day. We stayed back last night to get the VE Commodore sound system completed. So I don't actually remember how far we got in the video, but we ended up testing the sound system and it is impressive. That 5-channel amplifier runs the whole system and those 2 insane massive subwoofers with no issues at all. And it's really, really good to be able to just use 1 amp to run everything instead of having to mount 2 amps. It sounds insane. We generally use Alpine systems and they're really good as well. This is the first real MTX sort of top-down system that we've done. And I have to say, it is impressive. It's not gonna come through on video. It is really nice. So I'll show you that system. I'll show you how far I got with the head unit, and then I'll show you a bit of the wrap. And that is this video done. We've got the car wrapped, sound system done, head unit in. It's all coming together. Let's look at it. So here we have these 2 behemoth MTX subs. Like I said before, they get really low. They sound insane. For a mid-range system, this is one of the loudest, cleanest systems I've ever heard, and they sound insane. Coming over to the back doors, here we have these MTX woofers here, which Jaden has mounted upside down, so that's always fun. Why did you mount them upside down? Okay, so James mounted them upside down, but that is because this orientation is where the terminals don't touch the body and where the woofer sits flush against the spacer. So we did buy the correct spacers for this car. However, if you do a system like this, you should note that the front and rear speakers won't sit, the baskets are a little bit bigger than the 6.5-inch spacer, which is why you have to get it as close as you can. We had to shave the basket on these as well, and a little bit of sound deadener around the speaker as well as in the doors for the sound obviously, but that is basically the way we had to mount it. So that's something to keep in mind. Same thing at the front. These are specific spacers for this car. Now, the original spacers here will work with 6-inch speakers, but that is like no aftermarket speaker. So any aftermarket speaker will require the aftermarket brackets. If you're using these MTXs, same thing. It's going to be a little bit of modification on the basket or the speaker grill or something like that to get it to sit in. And for the tweeters, they're just in the factory plastic housing there, and then also a bit of sound deadener around the whole area, and the original covers will just sit on top and cover that nicely. That brings us to the head unit. So here I've got the fascia. Now this is mostly plug and play. I have a full video on how to install this. So if you want information on how to install one of these, we do have a full video on it. Plug and play at the quad lock connector right there. Super easy. Hazards, they just plug in. Actually, one thing that's funny about this kit, you have to cycle the ignition for these to work. Don't know why, but cycle ignition, these will start working again. Key 1 and 2 I've hardwired because we're using an Android unit, so they're not plug and play. That's pretty much it. All the rest of the stuff we've done. The line out converter lands right about here, so that's gonna get tucked away neatly behind there. The head unit is our 10.1-inch Android display. So I like these Android displays because the DSPs in them are great. They've got a good pre-out. I can also download Netflix and YouTube and all that stuff. And they've got wireless CarPlay and the Bluetooth's good and they're pretty cheap. So that's why I go with something like this. In my other car, the Prado, we've got a Halo 9, but this car, we're gonna do this. So all I have left to do is put the door cards back on, mount the head unit, put the head unit in, test everything, tune the amplifier, and we are ready to go. Once we get all that done, we'll go and we'll take the car outside, get a look at it and see what you think. Guys, considering where we started with this thing, it has come such a long way. It is looking insane. I'm actually happy to drive that around as it is now and not be embarrassed. There are a couple of things that I still am not 100% happy with. So firstly is the exhaust. We've got the SS diffuser with a single pipe right here and nothing on that side, so we definitely need to fix the exhaust. The other issue is under the hood, and that is a little teaser for one of the next videos. Everything else I'm happy with. I think we can maybe do something with the interior. That'll also be another video. And what that alludes to is the fact that this car is far from finished. So we basically have an Omega that has a nice body kit on it. It is wrapped with wheels and suspension and an insane sound system and head unit, but the driveline is still junk. It's not a fast car. Now it is probably still capable of burnouts as it is, but I think we can definitely fix the exhaust, driveline, engine, that sort of thing on this car, and the interior to really make it something special. So stay tuned for the videos in the future because there is still a lot of work that we need to do to this cheap VE Commodore. If you've liked the builds, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Catch you in the next one.